Hey guys, coming at you with another update video, and today's topic is wheel spacers. So I've already got the other three installed so that I know exactly how to get it done for when I go to show you guys how to do it on this one. So as you know, 09 Trailblazer is what I've got. They are 6x5 bolt pattern, and the Trailblazer, the Envoy, and a couple other the Buick, the ones that are the same chassis, are the only cars with that bolt pattern that I know of. So like a Chevy truck wheel, like a Chevy 1500 wheel, does not fit on this car because they have 5.5. So it's very, very difficult to get aftermarket rims for this car, and it makes it quite expensive. So for a lot of the guys like me who wanted their rims to be spaced out to be flush, or if not flush, even farther out from the fender, we just get wheel spacers. Well, with the wheel spacers, it requires a little bit of modification that I'm going to show you here in a second. But I measured out, and a lot of guys go with 1.5s, but I went with 1.25. I didn't want it to stick out past the fender too much. I wanted it to be pretty much flush, just to kind of give it that better stance. So I don't know if you can see on this one how it's pushed in. And we come over here that already has it done, and you can see how much more flush that is, which gives it a much meaner stance. So obviously I'm going to have pictures and video at the end here to show you what the car looks like with all four done. And well, here's the process. Alright guys, so this is the tools you're going to need in order to complete this project. I have a file here, I have needle nose pliers, I have a torque wrench. I just picked this up today, Craftsman. It's a 1/2 inch drive, and it's 20 to 250 foot-pounds. And so far for this project, it's been great. $80 at Sears. I'll let you know how this one goes, because obviously I'm going to be using it a ton. So I'll have a feedback for you guys on whether it's a good deal or not. Flathead, 3/8. Our ratchet with 19 millimeter, a 19 millimeter impact socket, because I'm using an impact gun. And then on the torque wrench, and what you use for a couple other things, is a 1/2 inch 19 millimeter. And the reason for this is because the deeper wall that's on the impact, I don't know if you can tell, but how it's much bigger, this does not fit into the spacer. So once you go to put it back on, you're like, wait a minute, that doesn't fit. So you have to use this, and you got to hand tighten it with this and then crank it down with this. This is only to take your stock configuration apart. And last but not least is a cutoff wheel. And this is because in order to make the wheel fit, you have to grind all your studs down so that the wheel will be flush on the spacer. Normally I'm having to do this with the 1.25 inch because it's just too small, and really I'm not grinding down that much at all. It's only a couple millimeters, which I'll show you, but I think if you went with 1.5 inch you could get away with not doing this. I think it would fit. And like, this is from the other part. See how much that's, we're seriously not grinding off that much. Come on, focus. It's just like the top part of it. So go ahead and you take your wheel off, and of course jack up the car, put jack stands, and next step. Alright, so next step, figuring out how much you have to cut off the lugs. It's not much, like I said, or the studs, excuse me. It's not much, and it's not that big of a deal. But and normally you would clean this up, but I'm putting new brakes on this in like a week, so I'm not concerned about cleaning this because I have brand new rotors. I'm just waiting for the pads right now. I would be doing it right now if I got the pads in, but I ordered them from 2 different places, and I got the rotors but not pads yet, so hopefully they come in soon. I also have another surprise for you guys that I ordered, which should be here pretty soon also, which is going to be a pretty big task. Alright, so to figure this out, you got to put the spacer on here, and then you have to put, it doesn't matter if they're tight or not, but like you have to put them on there, but you don't have to like crank them down like you're gonna leave it on here. But put the lugs back on, and which I'll do one real quick. Alright, so now what you're going to do is you're going to take your marker and you're just going to put a mark on here like that, because you want the stud flush with the lug nut. And this is so what you'll understand when you have these and you get them on the car and you look at it. Totally you will understand. But that's just so that it's flush, or actually it's a little bit more in, and then the wheel, because the face of the wheel sits flush with this. So if anything's sticking out, the face of the wheel is not going to fit on there properly, and it's going to be all wavy. So you got to make it flush so that you can put the wheel on there and not have any issues. Alright, so of course have your safety glasses on. I'm going to move out of the way. He's going to do the honors of cutting. Alright, so to finish up this video, after you've gone and cut all of your studs, as you saw, after marking them and cutting them, put your wheel spacer back on, and now it's time to torque the lugs to the proper spec. Now, for like example here, mine's 2-wheel drive. So the front, if I go to torque these, the whole rotor's just going to spin. It's not going to go anywhere. It's just going to spin, and I'm not going to be able to torque it. Now on the rear, it's a little bit different story. The rear, the axle's not going to move, so I'm able to torque it on the rear. But in the front, you're not. So you have two options. You can have somebody sit in the car and hold the brake pedal and hold the brakes in order to torque these, or you can do this and you can jam a breaker bar in the middle of the lugs to make sure it'll stay just enough to torque these to spec. For these 6, you can just hand tighten them as much as you can, then you come back with a torque wrench. I like to put these at 105. Stock spec's 103, but since this is a spacer, you may just want a little bit more tighter. That's just like, you can really do whatever you want, but I choose to put it at 105, and so far it's been working. I've had these on for a while. This is just, I'm coming back to finish up the video from last time. Also, one thing that you want to make sure of, especially with these, is to do the star pattern. So do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 when you torque them, so that everything is level. Now you'll go ahead and throw your wheel back on. Alright, so once you've thrown your wheel back on, it's obviously not going to stay. So what I do is I'll take one of the new lugs that they sent with the kit, and I'll put one of these on just to hold it. Now the more important thing here is that you hold the tire flat, or the rim flat, against the spacer, and you want to try to center this as best as possible. These spacers are not hub centric. Nothing comes out and centers the wheel on the lugs, or the studs. I mean, these are the cheaper versions. If you get these spacers that are hub centric, you don't have to worry about this step. For me though, you do. Like for me, I have to worry about this. Put the wheel on there flat, go through and hand tighten all of the lugs, and make sure they're even in each hole when you do it, and you'll be able to tell, because they'll all go the same amount. One, if they're not even, one won't go the same amount as the others when you tighten them down. And literally all you do is you'll take the 19mm socket, the deep well, and you'll only turn these by hand, and you can see that you've got to line this up so that it's, you know, even if you have to hit it a few times and whatnot, you have to line the wheel up and make sure that it's even. Because see, if you can get it off, but as long as you make sure that all these are even before torquing, then you're good to torque. So I'll show you what it looks like when they're done. Now once you've snugged all these down in a star pattern, you can see they all fit in there really nicely. So now you know they're centered, and you can kind of feel with your hand on here and you can tell, but this is definitely, this one I got it centered. So now you'll go ahead and torque these down in a star pattern. Now the thing is that it works the same way with the inside of the spacer. If I was to set this back down on the ground and use the ground to hold the tire, because like right now it'll just free spin because it's a hub. If I was to set this back on the ground and torque these, it will move them. They're not tight enough right now. So you still, even though the tire is back on, and normally you would just set the car to the ground and tighten them, but that's because it would be centered on the hub already. These ones are not centered. So if you set it down, it'll move, and then you'll tighten it and it's not equal. And I've done it before. So then you're driving down the road and you'll get a vibration in your steering wheel. So now with the wheel on, but not touching the ground, still free moving after you've centered these, I normally use my feet, and I actually can use my legs to hold the tire enough to get this to torque to 103. It does work. Or you can have somebody hit the brakes again, which is another easy thing. If they're already in the car from hitting the brakes before, they can just stay in there, hit the brakes again, and hold it while you go and torque these. So I'll go ahead and do that real quick. So now that you've gone and torqued all these to 103, checked them, you can pop your center cap back on. Oops. And you can set your wheel down on the ground and you're all done. And you're all good to go. Thanks. If you have any questions, comment below.